Hey, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday service, and a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. We will begin our service with the ringing of the kancho, followed by the chanting of Jusege. You can follow along on the screen or page 93 in your purple service book.
조세이강 이시무조도 싱아흐만도 세후조성악 가오무료고 의다이세슈 사이쇼빙 세후조성악 아시조문노 묘쇼초지뻐 극겸이쇼모 세후조성악 미역지쇼네 조회슈방요 싱음무조도 이쇼댕이시 인리기엔다이고 의쇼무사이도 쇼조상금요 고사이슈야구남 이지에겐 메시고모안 해석쇼아구도 쯔다쯔덴슈몬 고소조만도 이어로지뻐 니칭아투슈즈키 땡kompunge 이슈카이호도 고세쿠도쿠호 요나이슈즈 세포시시쿠 그여이사이브 그석슈도쿠혼 간내시스조만 国威三愛よ如仏無下地脱未不詳感学へに投資最小尊志願や国家外戦を感動国書店に統治妙家ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがにしくどく平等正祭同本も大心往生安楽ナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツ
Next, I would like to invite the children to come up and offer oshoko, and then go to the kaikan for Dharma school. Of three treasures, followed by Sankyemon.
Please join me in reading the three treasures. Hard it is to receive a human form. Now we have received it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in this life, in what life shall we do so? Let us reverently take refuge together in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. Together with all beings, may we attain the great enlightenment, awakening to the supreme intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. Together with all beings, may we enter the storehouse of Dharma, acquiring wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. Together with all beings, may we become united as a great assembly, being free of all bondage. Hard is it to encounter the supreme, profound, and wondrous Dharma, even in 100,000 million kalpas. Now we are able to hear and receive it. let us truly understand the true intent of the Tathagata. Namo Amida Butsu, Nammanda Butsu. 三期右衛門、人参受けがたし、今すでに浮く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。この身根性に向かってどせずんば、さらにいずれの章に向かってかこの身をどせん。大衆もろともに指針に三方に帰依し立てまつるべし。自ら仏に帰依し立てまつる。まさに願わくば主情とともに大道を体現して無常意を起こさん。自ら法に帰依し立てまつる。まさに願わくば主情とともに深く共同に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自ら僧に帰依し立てまつる。まさに願わくば主情とともに大衆を通りして一切無下ならん。無常人人未明の方は百千万号にも相追うことかたし、我今検問し従事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナマンダブツ、ナンマンダブツ、ナンマンダブツ。
Okay, now Reverend Takata will deliver his Dharma message.
Would you please join me in Gassho? This is a saying of Master Shinran. Those who truly attain the true and real mind from Amida Buddha, as they recite Amida Buddha's name, being mindful of the Buddha always, wish to respond to the great benevolence. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending the Dharma service today. I welcome all of you, and especially those attending our Dharma service for the first time. When we come to the temple, we bring the Nenju with us. I have a lock shoulder, little bit pain, so I hold this way, the Nenju. Some people call this object Juzu, but in Jodo Shinshu, we do not call this object Juzu. We call this Nenju. I guess in the course of Japanese immigrants' history, various customs, practices, and teachings were intermingled. So even followers of our tradition call this Juzu. So this morning I wish to share with you why we call this object Nenju instead of Juzu. Juzu is translated as counting beads. So there are two Chinese characters. Ju means to count, and Zu means beads. So Juzu means counting beads. In other Buddhist schools, they count these beads as they recite Buddha's name, or as they walk around the Buddha's statue to know how many times they walk around the Buddha to visualize the Buddha's appearance or attain enlightenment. However, in Jodo Shinshu, as you know, we don't count beads to practice something for the attainment of enlightenment. If you go to temples of other Buddhist schools, such as Soto school, Nichiren school, etc., you may realize that the altar area is much bigger than the gauging area, outer area, where you are sitting, because they must practice in the altar to attain enlightenment. However, in the case of our temple, it is the opposite. The altar area is much smaller than the gauging or outer area where you are sitting. Because the Buddha fulfilled the great practice for those of us who cannot practice completely due to the defiled minds. So the Buddha practiced and attained enlightenment for us and direct the merit that enable us to attain enlightenment. So it is often said that our practice is to listen to why the Buddha fulfilled the great practice for us to attain enlightenment, and how the Buddha's wisdom and compassion are currently working for us. So in the case of our school, this object is called Nenju, and it is translated as mindful beads. There are two Chinese characters. Nenju's Nen means to think about Amida Buddha, or to be mindful of Amida Buddha. And Nenju's Ju means beads that represent our various desires and passions. In Buddhism, it is said that we carry 108 desires or passions. So it is often said that we ring the bell 108 times at the end of the year. However, it doesn't matter for our school. The number doesn't matter for us. The purpose of ringing the bell at the end of the year is for us to reflect upon our defiled minds, which are constantly embraced by the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. And this is my, the Nenju. This is a minister's official Nenju. Do you know how many children's beads it has? It has 108 children beads. And for lay members, children beads are smaller numbers, such as 54, 36, or 27, etc. And they represent all of us. And these two parents' beads represent the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. And they are together with all the children's beads. And this represents that we are constantly embraced by the Buddha's wisdom and compassion, although we always possess defiled passions. As Master Shinran teaches us, we are saved as we are without severing our defiled passions. So there is a knot over here called Renyo Musubi in Japanese, or Renyo knot on our Nenju, to prevent us from counting the beads. I don't know the history of Nenju in our tradition very well, but I understand that Renyo Shonin, we have a scroll hung next to Amida Buddha. Renyo Shonin, the eighth spiritual leader of the Honganji tradition, changed the practices, rituals, and traditions of Honganji to correct any misunderstanding of the teaching and clarify the true teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow transmitted by Shinran Shonin. So I guess a knot is called the Renyo knot. And when we hold the Nenju, which hand do we hold it in? You hold left hand or right hand? We hold it with our left hand. As you know, Buddhism was transmitted from India. In India, the left represents impurity, and the right represents purity. In other words, the left represents foolish and ignorant beings who are full of defiled passions, and the right represents the Buddha, who has a pure mind at all the time. This is the reason why we hold Nenju with our left hands. We are living in this defiled land that is full of suffering and affliction. However, the Buddha's land is a completely pure land, which is a world of enlightenment, where we will be born at the end of our lives. In other words, our left hands represent Namo, and our right hand represents Amida-butsu. Namo Amida-butsu. So we put our left hands, which represents our defiled minds, and our right hand, which represents Buddha's pure mind, together and become one. And why do our defiled minds and Buddha's pure mind become one? The Buddha's sincere and true mind, which possesses wisdom and compassion, is constantly reaching out to us in the form of the name, Namo Amida-butsu. So all the Buddha's virtues, are directed to us by the Buddha's primal power. And when we have Nenju, we put our hand together in Gassho and recite the name of the Buddha, Namo Amida-butsu. And Namo Amida-butsu is the Buddha's calling voice to save all beings equally. In other words, Namo Amida-butsu is a manifestation of the Buddha's wish, embodying the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. The Master Shinran teaches us Amida Buddha is like the magnet, and we are like the nails. The power of the primal vow, or the working of Buddha's wisdom and compassion, enables all beings to be saved by the Buddha as we are, like the various kinds of nails, such as short, long, new, old, straight, bent, all attracted to the magnet without any exceptions by the power of the magnet. The movement of the nails is not caused by their own work. They are naturally moved by the power of the magnet. The reason why all nails are attracted to the magnet is due to the nature of the metal, such as steel or iron. In the same way, the Buddha's wish, the Buddha's working wisdom and compassion enables all beings to be saved by the Buddha as we are, like all kinds of nails attracted to the magnet without any exceptions by the power of the magnet. It is not due to our own efforts and works, such as performing difficult practices or following strict precepts. We are naturally attracted to the Buddha's wish and are turned into Buddha by the inconceivable working of the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. So let us become mindful of the intention and fulfillment of the Buddha's wish, primal vow, and appreciate that we are constantly embraced by the great compassionate mind of the Buddha. Thank you very much for listening. Would you please join me in Gassho? Namo Amida-butsu, Namman-dautsu, Namman-dautsu, Namman-dautsu.
Thank you very much, Sensei, for your Dharma message this morning. Next, we will have the reading of Ryogemon.
Please join me in reading the Ryogemon by Master Renyo. We rely upon Amida Buddha with our whole heart for the enlightenment in this life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our imperfect view. There is no doubt that the assurance of enlightenment comes at the very moment we enter us, and we recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida-butsu, in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and succeeding masters who have led us to live in this profound teaching, and we do not endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. 両下出言、もろもろの同業奪取自力の心を振り捨てて、一心に阿弥陀如来、我らが今度の一大事の御所、御助け総来と頼み申して候。頼む一年の時、往生一条御助け事情と存じ、この上の称名はご恩報者と存じ、喜び申し候。この恩断り弔問申し分け候こと、ご概算承認ご出世のご恩、次第僧正の伝儀式の朝からたるご関係のご恩と、ありがたく存じ候。この上は定めおかせられる恩をきて、一号限り守り申すべく候。ナモ阿弥陀仏、南無阿弥陀仏、南無阿弥陀仏、南無。
Okay, time for announcements. First, on March the 21st, we will be having our Spring Higan seminar from 10 to 11:30, and our guest speaker is Reverend Yukari Tori, who is the resident minister of the San Fernando Valley Honganjin Buddhist Temple. And donations for the seminar is greatly appreciated. Following day is our Spring Higan Dharma service, starting at 10, and again, Reverend Tori will be our guest speaker. Moving on to April the 5th, we have our Hanamatsuri Dharma service, which is the birth of Buddha. And our guest speaker at that time is Reverend Dr. Nobuo Haneda, who is the director of Maida Center of Buddhism. Now, for those of you interested in some classes, study sessions, there's one left for this session, Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. via Zoom, which is led by Reverend Takata, and that's on March the 4th. And then on Saturday, he also has one left. This is from 11 to 12, also via Zoom, and that will be on March the 7th. Now, our Assistant Minister, Reverend Koya, she has a monthly Shoshinge chanting service, followed by Buddhism Beyond Mindfulness. She has one session left for that, which is March the 14th. It starts at 10. The chanting starts at 10, and the discussion will be at 11 o'clock, and everyone is welcome for this. Now, once a month, we have Sunday matinee, Dharma, and a movie. We have some, I think the last one, I forgot what the last one was. Do you remember? Wreck-It Ralph. And somehow it's related to Buddhism. So after the movie, they have a discussion. There's popcorn served, so it's a fun event. But the next one will be on March the 15th after service. Now, we have a temple activity coming up. It's Dharma service at Tanaka Farms. And this is scheduled for March the 29th, starting at 10 o'clock. So if you do plan to go, we ask that you arrive 10 to 15 minutes early, because at 10, that's when the wagons come, and then you get a tour of the farm. There's also a short service after the tour. You'll get a chance to pick strawberries, also vegetables, and then lunch is served as well. So registration fee is $20 for adults, and it's free for children 12 and under. So if you are interested, please contact the temple. And the flyers, everything that I'm saying should be on the bulletin board, which is in the back. Now today, we are resuming what's called Dharma Cafe. So at 11 o'clock out in the front, we have some tables, light refreshment. It's just a chance to socialize, meet your fellow attendees here, talk to the Reverend, ask any questions you would like. So hopefully you can join us for that. That's from 11 to 1. Now, many of you know that this year we are celebrating our 100th anniversary of the temple. And we are working on a centennial commemorative wall, which will be displayed in the lobby area in the front. And if you would like to have your name printed on a gold leaf and displayed on the wall, we are asking for a minimum donation of $250 or more. You know, you can always donate more. But that's something that we are working on right now. And as far as our the celebration banquet, that's on November the 14th. And it's at the block, so it's right on the corner of Sawtell and Olympic, so it's walking distance. Next year, or every year, we have what's called a national council meeting. And this is where all of the temples gather to talk about business. So next year, West LA, along with 2 other temples, Senshin and Venice, are in charge. And we have a lot of slots, committee slots there that are still open. And I know that they are asking for a lot of help. This is a big deal. A lot of things needs to be planned for. So the meeting itself is in February of next year, the 25th through the 28th. So if any of you are interested in helping out, please see Galen. He's in the back. Raise your hand, Galen. Okay. I know there's going to be a big rush for that. Now, once a month, we have bingo at the temple. It's the 3rd Friday of every month. It's open to anyone 18 and over because it's all cash prizes. It starts at 7 o'clock in our social hall, which is just across the patio way. Plenty of parking. A lot of the attendees bring snacks. It's a lot of fun. However, this month, we will not be having bingo because there's another event happening the same day. So we will resume in April. So hopefully many of you will be able to join us for that. And finally, we have some merch, temple merch that we sell. The first one is a temple t-shirt. This has our temple logo, all right? And black, it comes in a V-neck or a crew neck style. They're $20 each, 100% cotton. So if you're interested in that, please see me. We also have a happi. This is mainly worn when we have our annual obon, our festival. And again, it also has our logo on the back. And then the front in Japanese, it'll say the temple, West LA Temple. So if you're interested in this one, this was made specially for us in Japan. It's $80 for members, $95 for non-members. And again, if you're interested in that, please see. Now, also, we just received, today, Reverend Takata was talking about the nenju. So we have nenjus. I don't know if you can see on the camera. All right. So it's made out of crystal. We have purple. We have pink. These 2 are $25 each. And then there's one which is an amber color. And for some reason, it's a little cheaper. It's $15 each. So we have these available as well. Let's see. So I mentioned about Dharma Cafe. That's going to be at 11 o'clock out in the front. And if any of you are interested in delving deeper into Buddhism, shortly after the service, Reverend Koya will have what's called Dharma Reflection Session. And you're more than welcome to join her for that. So with that, that concludes our service for today. Again, thank you everyone for attending. Sensei?
Will you please join me in Gasho? Naman doubts, naman doubts, naman doubts, naman doubts, naman doubts. Thank you very much. Please offer the incense.